Hey guys, as stated the other day, I am going to trim this back here. This here, in line with the angle of that there, using the jigsaw. So let me just do a pre-test in there. Let it go up, and then that's going to get in the way of that. So perhaps coming down would be the best way. I think we'll try both. Go up and then down. Try that. Oh, hang on. Might be easy with a hacksaw. Alright, try it with this. Fuck it. That was pretty painless. Now to get that bit there, try this. Yep, go for the wire. Bloody lovely, mate. Oh yeah. Right. Okay, I took some measurements of that spot over there where the gap is, and I've marked out this scrap bit of polycarbonate. I get those two names mixed up sometimes. And I'm just going to run through here now with the jigsaw. I've checked it up against the position where I want this, and it's a blessing this is see-through, so you can really see if your marks are on the money or not. So anyway, I won't film this bit. I'll just cut it and then I'll install it somehow, and then I'll show you that. Alright guys. Okay, so I've cut all that out and I've put it in. There's the seam there, and what I've done is I've left this without a piece of tape on it, and I've put a piece of tape on the inside, and it's in perfect line with this sheet here. It's a pretty good fit. I cut it out pretty well. I did have to chop out a little bit up here that I miscalculated, and I just did that with a hacksaw. So I'm leaving this one there, as you can see, because when I come and do the wrap I want to come over that seam so you don't see it at all. Now the piece of tape that's on the inside, as I said, it's doing a good enough job there that I don't need to run a piece of tape out here as well and then put the wrap over it, because wherever I have tape and then put the wrap over it, you are going to see a very faint line on the edge of the tape through the wrap, and I want to try and keep that at an absolute minimum. So as I said, this is only a very small piece in that corner because these sheets were 3 meters long, and you know, it's fine. It's not a critical part of the thing like around the porthole or around back up here where there's a massive distance between frames. So as I said, putting black EVA foam, 10mm black EVA foam on the inside of that, which is going to give it a little bit more rigidity and suppression too, so it won't flop around as much in between that gap. Alright, onward and upward. Okay, so I'm here going to prepare this insect mesh, this homemade insect mesh for behind. Sorry, let me just grab this. It's hard to hold it all in one hand and do the gimbal with the other. So it's basically going to sit on the inside of that area in there. And how I'm going to do that is, this mesh I just got from Bunnings, guys. I think it was $11 for so many meters. So I'm going to mark out the inside diameter of that, or perimeter, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to come in with some scissors. And so let's say the mark is, obviously will be around the inside there, but I will cut it out a little bit further out. And then I'm going to come in and do snips, basically snips all around, and then I'm going to come in with hot glue, and I'm going to do each little flap individually because hot glue sets real quick. So I'll do like the top, the bottom, the left, the right, and then everyone in between, and that'll be obviously in there. So I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to show you that, guys, because I'm not really well set up with proper recording equipment for looking down onto what I'm doing, but you get the idea. I'll show you bits and pieces as I go along. Alright guys, let's get into it. Okay, I've cut that out. I don't know how well you can see that, but I didn't have a white texture, but fortunately I could see the line anyway. And as you can see, I've left a little bit between the two where I'll come through with some scissors and make little cuts, and then they'll be folded in and hot glued around that there. Now, that being said, it could end up looking shite, so I'm going to just do one. I'm not going to hot glue it yet. I'm just going to do the little snips around there, and I'm going to loosely put it in there, or actually I should say over in there, and see how it looks. And if it looks shite, I may have to rethink my whole strategy on that. Alright, I've cut it all out. I've done all the little snips, as you can see through there, and I've placed it in. I haven't hot glued it. I'll try and give you a good look up and around there so you can see it better. So look, there is a bit of hanging out stuff there, but to do this particular homemade thingy, you have to have some little flaps coming out so you can hot glue them on there. I just cannot for the life of me figure out how else to do it without having a little flap, you know. So look, I think it looks acceptable. It's not going to look too totally dicky, I don't think. And obviously I'll flatten everything out real nice, and so yeah. Alright, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to fire up the hot glue gun, and I'm going to come in and do that. I'll just show you a trick with the hot glue gun. A lot of the ones that aren't automatically feeding, they come with those little sticks, and a trick that you can do so you don't have to, because it's really hard trying to feed a stick in when you're in using it mid action. So I get a bunch of them and I put a tiny little dot of the hot glue on the end of the sticks, and then I just stick them together. And sometimes you have to come around with a Stanley knife and trim off the burrs, because the burrs will not feed through this here. So there you go, guys, bit of fun. Let's do it. Okay, so that is basically how it looks. I will obviously clean that up a bit. I mean, a few stringy bits of the old hot glue there, but overall I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, homemade and all. I mean, I could have really invested a huge part of me amount of time in making a nice little frame for that and everything, but I can't be stuffed, mate. That'll do the job nicely. Alright, now I'll do the other ones. I won't film that, you get the idea. And I've also got to come around and cut out the square holes for the vents. I won't be putting the vents in because I've got to wait for the wrap. Yeah. Okay guys, I have marked out on here, I don't know how well you can see it, this is for the door, the gull wing door. It's going to have a porthole there so I can look out when I'm cooking, and the oval portholes which are coming go above the hobs on that side and the back of me there, so when I'm cooking at night I can keep an eye on this way here, and left and right as well, and obviously the two down there on either side of my head where I rest at night. If I hear some weird noises outside, I can just, you know, pull the sunshade back and peek out and see who's around. See who needs a thump on the head. No, I'm just kidding. Probably be me getting the thump on the head. Anyway, I'm going to cut that out now, and the good thing about that gull wing door is it's got one piece of 5mm, and then it's got a Sikaflex piece of 2.5mm flute. So I don't think I'm going to need the jigsaw for that. I'm just going to try and use the blade, God, I've forgotten the friggin' name, a Stanley knife blade. I'm going to try it with that, and hopefully I can get a nice clean circle thing without too many crappy cuts and that. I just think that'll be easier than using the jigsaw, because it's not thick like this. It's not as rigid as this. Obviously I had to use to cut out that one, and the other one. Yeah, I'm rambling. Here we go. Okay, that was very easy. As you can see, I've only cut at this moment in time the 2.5mm black flute, and the reason I did that is because I wanted to see how easily I could just cut the black flute before I go into the white, and I'm using this black flute that's cut out as a guide as well. So now I'm going to come in again with the Stanley knife and hopefully be able to cut that out successfully. And I think fitting the porthole into this stuff as opposed to the polycarbonate will be a hell of a lot easier, because this is a lot more pliable than polycarbonate. And yeah, let's give it a whirl. Alright, that went very well indeed. I even managed to cut out the EVA foam as I was cutting out the white thing, and it all just popped out in one go. I wasn't kind of really expecting that. I was only trying to get through the white flute, and then I knew I would have to maybe come back and do the EVA foam as well, but it has come out a bloody treat, mate. I mean, you see there's a bit of a gap and everything there, but I'm going to put some hot glue around there, and also when the porthole's in and the flange is down, that's not going to be an issue, but I'm going to put some hot glue in there when I come to do the insect screen, mesh screen for it as well. So yeah, it looks a bit messy. It is a bit messy, but you're not going to see it. So there we go. Very happy with that. All right, let's chuck the porthole in and get our jollies over how good that's going to look. Mate, I cannot put into words how awesome I think and feel that looks. Getting in for a close-up. Obviously it hasn't been attached properly yet because the wrap's not here. What I'm thinking of doing is, because down that wheel well down there, I'm going to keep that black with a black diagonal graphic, matte black graphic going through there, so it doesn't just look so, you know, boxy and square. And then I'm thinking of following that black line up through along here and keeping that all black. I'll spray all that, and just having the green, metallic green up there to follow in line with the lines between the black and the green there. So I can't actually connect all that up yet for obvious reasons. I've still got to do the insect mesh there. But mate, I'm far out. How much better does that look with a little window there? And it's in the right height as well. Right height. And very happy with that. So yeah, still got to do the other one down on the other side when the other polycarbonate comes. But for today, it's just those two portholes and one little square cut out for the air vent that has the USB fans in there, the inlet and outlet cross-flow USB fans that I have wired into a 4-channel Wi-Fi relay, but was unable to pair it because the Wi-Fi reception here is woeful. So I've left that out, but I'll get connected all up down the track. Mate, I'm so happy with that. It was a piece of piss cutting it as well, I'll just tell you. So easy. Bloody hell, that's awesome. Alright. I'm going to take you inside and show you what it looks like looking out of that porthole I've just put in. Just because I can and I want to. It shouldn't pop out because it's a pretty snug fit. So let's just pop in there for you guys. I'm going to close it. That's what it looks like horizontal. And now for the vertical with the look out. Hopefully, look at that. That's my head height pretty much there. I can't really zoom back out anymore with this because it's already at full zoom. I'll try and come back in a little bit and see if I can give you a better look at it there. So that's it there. I'm not sure how good the it might be a bit fuzzy because there's not a great deal of light in here, but anyway, you get the idea. And these nuts and bolts up here, you can tighten those to give you when you open the door. I'll show you when you open it. You see how it sits there? You can actually tighten that nut and bolt to make it sit up higher. So mate, I'm so happy with that. I'm just going to come in and do the insect mesh on there now, then drill the holes for the nuts and bolts to go in down the track. But as I said, I'm not Sikaflexing it today because I need to wait for the wrap. Alright guys, ciao. Okay, I have successfully hot glued the insect mesh in there. It looks a bit rough. It is a bit rough. I'll come in at a later date and clean it all up. But I'm very happy with that. It was so easy to do, a lot easier than I thought, and it doesn't look too bad. I'm happy enough with that. I've put in a couple of nuts here and there just to hold everything in place. The other thing with these porthole things is, and I've seen tutorials done on it before, this little water gutter here, you basically want this downside of the flange in more, and you want the top out a little bit, preferably. That way you don't get any water sitting in here and resting against the rubber seal, the water seal in there, which will end up possibly making it rot, and water will eventually trickle down in. So that's what I'm going to do. It's not like that at the moment because I don't need to go to that sort of trouble right now because the wrap's not here, and I've just put a few nuts and bolts in just to make sure that they went through everything successfully, and the EVA foam being 10 mil thick, I had just enough thread on the inside area to thread the nut on there and make it all secure. So I know that's going to be all right. So I'm very, very happy with that. Mate, it just puts a whole new... So you've got to imagine this is metallic green, right? Forget about the black. I know it looks cool, but it just didn't keep... didn't hold mustard, mate, you know, as much as I liked it and everything. But, you know, as my mate Dave says on Cybertrek Australia, you know, you want to stand out, and the metallic green is going to make me stand out like a sore thumb, mate, and still look cool at the same time. So I'm very happy with that. And you can see there how it protrudes out a little bit. I'll zoom in. And that bottom bit with the water gutter needs to be in more and the top out, so that water doesn't sit in that gutter and cause it to leak. So that's it, pretty much finished for today. I've just got to cut out that hole for the air vent. It's going to take like 2 seconds, and I think the battery's charged now, so pretty good, pretty good. Very happy, very happy, very happy. Alright, I've cut out the little square for the air vent to sit on. Eventually when the wrap is done, this will sit over the wrap and it will be Sikaflexed into place, or actually it's probably better to have that Sikaflexed to that because the wrap may give way. Yeah, we'll do that. And then on the other side, the inside, it's got the USB fan, which is hooked up to a 4-channel Wi-Fi relay, which you can control with your phone, like a lot of the things in my rig are, which I really like. Sometimes, you know, you're lying down in bed at night, last thing you want to do, you're all comfortable, is get up and turn a bloody light off. So anyway, I'm a bit of a tech fiend as well, so I like playing around with a bit of tech. So this is the gull wing door, and that is obviously in the open position. I'm going to leave it open to let some air in through here, and then up the other end there, I'll zoom in, I've done the same there as well. And as I said, those little nuts and bolts that are up here, you can tighten them to make it so it sits up and doesn't fall back down. There was something else I wanted to tell you about. Yes, I wanted to tell you about this insect mesh. I'm led to believe that not only is it insect proof, as in like the common usual suspects of mosquitoes and flies, but here in Australia in certain areas we have these things called sandflies or midges or thrips, and I believe this stops those as well. So when you, it'll be too hard to show you in here, guys, but it's got the main heavy gauge sort of mesh, and then in between it's got this tiny little hairline stuff as well. So I'm kind of hoping that that's going to work a treat. When I stuck that insect mesh on this one before, when I say stuck, I hot glued it in, I opened it all up and I laid down in there with the porthole door open on the inside to see if there was a breeze coming through, and there is, which is great. So not only does it stop mosquitoes and flies and thrips and midges and whatever, those really tiny microscopic ones that urinate on you. Yeah, a lot of people think they've been bitten, but no, they actually urinate on you, little buggers, and then you itch it and it gets into your skin and into your blood. And if that happens enough, you can get very bloody sick very quickly. Anyway, I lived in Queensland for a while, up in Hervey Bay, and those things are crazy up there, and they're crazy in Broome and Derby as well. And you know, I've opened up my own legs down around my ankles several times. It took 6 months for the scarring to go away, so I'm pretty keen on this mesh to work as stated. Alright, that's it for today. The battery's nearly fully charged. I actually drove down here today because the V-line bus and the other bus that I have to catch to get here, their times don't marry up quite nicely on the weekends. So I've just driven down, and I know in previous uploads, guys, I've told you that I was parking my van permanently. Well, it's turned out to be quite a good little tool to use in the process of getting things like the polycarbonate and stuff like that. Instead of having it delivered, you know, I can just go there when it's there and pick it up, and the van's come in very handy, and also come in very handy for running my son around to school and when he was sick to hospital and doctor's appointments, etc. So suffice it to say, I am saving a shitload of money by not driving that van anywhere near the amount that I used to. When I was living in it, of course, I was driving it everywhere. It was probably costing me somewhere around $250 a week in fuel if I was, you know, traveling around the place. So I'm maybe doing $30 a week now, maybe sometimes between $30 and $50 a week if I come here and go back there a few times and a bit of running around, just to give you an idea. So yeah, so still got the van, prefer not to drive it, but it comes in handy from time to time. Alright guys, that's it for this upload. The next time I come here, hopefully I will have the wrap. I'm still waiting for it. It was supposed to have been delivered yesterday. It didn't turn up, so I'm hoping Monday, Tuesday I'll get down here and I will videotape me putting the wrap on. Hopefully it will go okay. And then in a few weeks, hopefully not 2 weeks, maybe just 1 week after that, I'll have enough money to grab the other polycarbonate, and I'll rip into that as well and show you all that. And then somewhere in all of this, I've got to get some more white vinyl and some black matte vinyl to redo my graphics and the stickers and stuff. So yeah, it's all coming together. It's all coming together nicely. I'm still trying to acquire that bloody key for the padlocks for the gates of the Great Southern Rail Trail. If anyone knows anyone, please chime in and leave a comment down below, or please get into contact with me, because I am one of those weird bike riders that agrees with car drivers that we just shouldn't be on the road, mate. And I've verified that a gazillion times. So many times I've nearly been skittled by people in cars, motorbikes and trucks. Even though there's a good shoulder on the side of the road, guys, it is, you know, it's scary, and I don't want to scare other people either. And this rig is really catches people's attention, mate, and I don't want to be the cause of anyone having an accident. So if I can get a key for those padlocks, that'd be great, because that opens up a massive chunk of Gippsland for me from where I'm from here at Nyora. the start of the rail trail, the extension, when it opens, parts of it are open, starts just down the road here. So that opens everywhere up to me. It goes right down to Alberton, or it will. It's Port Welshpool at the moment, and then they're extending it from Port Welshpool to Alberton, and Alberton's down where I used to live at McLaughlin's Beach, where I was building a small off-grid shipping container home, which went pear-shaped because of my hip. Never got to finish that. Anyway, I prefer this style of living anyway. I get to travel around and I don't get too contented by being in the one spot for too long and getting a bit mentally handicapped at the same time. One of those things that happens for me, if I stay in the one place for too long, start getting too content, and not long after that, the black dog of depression is licking at my heels. So there you go, guys. There's another reason. Let you in a little bit more in the psychology of why I do the things I do. There's a gazillion reasons why. It's not just one. It's a whole puzzle putting it together. One day, and I might dedicate a whole upload to those sorts of things. But for now, just want to get this build done, and I'll drop little gold nuggets along the way as well. But one day we'll have a Q&A and I'll answer your questions and we'll get into it. Alright guys, stay safe. Ciao for now.